5, 16, 19, 21, 30, 3 and 10. Check results. You remember?
For the day. So with a sore throat. Not really, actually. I don't have a sore throat. I was just coughed once, singularly just then. I don't have a sore throat at all. Um, as each day goes by, we tick closer to a certain time of the year. A heavy time of the year for films. The summer. And, whether you're looking forward to certain films here, certain films there. The Flash, for example, or Killers of the Flower Moon is more your speed. Whatever is your drug. What I can't help but thinking about is Oppenheimer, which comes out in not too long. But also Barbie. Yes, two films that couldn't be any more dissimilar. The conundrum being that both these films come out on the same day. Oppenheimer, the film about nuclear weapon explosion, true story thing, and the Barbie movie. I have made no secret of my previous queries or worries about the Barbie movie experience. I feel like going to that alone is sort of like a something you shouldn't do. Only something brave souls do. We'll say that. The awkwardness of walking in and saying 1 ticket for the Barbie movie, please, sends shivers down my spine just thinking about it. But that being said, that's 5 seconds and then you're in there. You're in the darkness, Basically, it's what do I pick, was what I'm trying to say. And by the way, I do realise that the films are out for longer than a day, so you can see both. You could see them both in the same day if you wanted to. But films usually stay out for like a month, so it's not really an issue here. There's no choice to make. But it's just that if you had to, what choice do you make? That's more of the better question, because they're both out on the same day. Firstly, what do you think is going to have the better box office? Because going head to head like that, well, I already know the Barbie movie is going to have the better first day. Will make more money overall. I don't know. I'd be pretty sure if you looked at what's the name? Christopher Nolan movies compared to Greta Gerwig movies, Christopher Nolan movies definitely would have made more money. With like Inception, Interstellar, The Dark Knight, and there, Tenet probably made a decent amount. I'm assuming all those movies beat out movies like Lady Bird and what else has Greta Gerwig made? She's made, I don't remember. She's have I forgotten this? Lady Bird. I can't remember. But you get the point. That being said, this movie has the star power, the meme potential, all the talk on Twitter. It's got Gen Z behind it. And we saw that Edgar Wright, not Edgar Wright, someone more boring than him, I can't remember his name, when he brought out The Northman, and he was complaining, Gen Z was on their phones, was on TikTok, can't have the attention span to watch a good film, basically because his film bombed, and he's triggered about it. Like, that could happen to Nolan, this film here, compared to that film there. That alone kind of makes you want to say, over the course of its entire lifespan, what's it called? What's it called, man? Oppenheimer will make more money, but I think it's just going to be a word of mouth thing. Like, I think on the first day it's going to be hard to deny the Barbie movie. Like, I just feel like first day blows out of the water, and the only way Oppenheimer has a chance overall is if it comes back in the long run. But it's just word of mouth. Like, I think Oppenheimer's always going to carry decently well. The Barbie movie is like, if it comes out and people are like, oh, this is just kind of mid, like, it's going to definitely die like within the first week. Like, no one else will even give it a chance, because it's going to be people going for the memes, for the fun. They're always going to go regardless on the day it comes out, the week it comes out. And there's people who are like iffy on it. If they don't hear good stuff, they're not going to see it. If it turns out to be one of these things, kind of like Dune, where it's like, wait, this is actually like if like this, it can be nominated for anything, like actor wise or anything like that. People are like, oh, Ryan Gosling's really good. People saying that about Ryan Gosling right now. If the story just if it's like a don't worry darling thing, the story is just really predictable and just kind of like, I assume there's going to be more to this because I don't think it could just be that simple, but I guess it is. Then like Oppenheimer takes it, but we will see. It'd be weird if Greta Gerwig's Little Women, Little Women, Little Women. That was another one. It'd be weird if Greta Gerwig's first director debut, whatever, at the Oscars would be for the Barbie movie, because it's like she should. I don't know. I know it doesn't matter. It's kind of like how I've never seen The Revenant, but it's kind of like how DiCaprio's Oscar nom was for The Revenant. It's like it doesn't matter what your first one's for, but it's just like I just think like that one's the most like, oh, I'm in pain, I'm out here surviving. It's like such an Oscar performance, right? But you just think, oh god, there were just so many better ones that should have been the first or should have been, came before it. It's like sure Barbie can get it, but like Lady Bird, like Lady Bird especially, like come on now. Let's not you know? It's like, come on. Wolf of Wall Street, it was great. Other stuff, it was great. I can't even think of any Leonardo. I mean, you guys have already guessed it. You know how it goes. It is late right now. It's tired. It's late. I'm tired. And but we're here. We're cooking. Let me cook. Hey, let me cook. And I'm cooking. No, I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not stalling for time right now when I say let me cook, because I've got literally nothing in the pot right now and I'm scrambling for ingredients. That's definitely not what I'm doing. But no, aside from that, I mean, I've told you, I made a list. I'm the type of guy, well, only till recently became the type of guy to make spreadsheets or whatever, just like long lists of like the films I want to see and stuff like that. And I had a lot on it this year, so I got high hopes this year. This is gonna be a great year, man. But not just for film, for TV also. I know a lot of people are nervy about Euphoria season 3 because there's a lot of sort of controversies about it, and a lot of people think season 2 was nowhere near as good as season 3. Season 1, they thought it went off the rails, right? What I've learned is opinions are crazy. It all it takes is listening or watching like. Oh, it wasn't even about content. This was real life. This is, I was trying to think of something. I was like, what was I watching? Was it a reality show I was watching? Was it a television show I was watching? Was it like something on YouTube, a podcast? No, it was real life reality at work. A conversation people were having behind me, and for some reason in my head, it's like, no, it must have been a bit of content. But they were talking, let's just say four different minds, right? And they were just talking about films. They throw this film out there, they kind of speak about it for like 45 seconds. They throw another film out there, speak about that one, right? And like from film to film, it was so rare they would land on one where everyone sort of had like a similar opinion. And when I say similar, I just mean like that guy liked it, that guy didn't really like it, that guy thought it was alright. Like, that guy thought it was a 7, that guy thought it was like a 4, but it's all within 7 to 4. It was like they'd go from one film and he'd be like, oh, I absolutely hate that. Or one actor, oh, I absolutely hate that actor. And the next person would say, what I love him, he's one of my favorites. And he would like pendulum like that, right? And it's like, and we all understand opinions and like we get it, right? Some people love stuff, some people hate stuff. It's just that simple. But then I was just thinking about like when you actually deep it and you see it in front of you together like that, like non-stop, like from thing to thing, one person being like, I loved this, and the next person being like, how? At the same thing, being like, I hate this. It's just like, wow, we really can like just take stuff in so differently. Like shit can be so different. Like it's like how everyone says Euphoria season 1 was way better, and it was like it was the better show and it was structured better. It was just this. I really didn't like Euphoria season 1, if I'm honest. Like I was kind of just watching it, wasn't there? And because it was like a big Twitter moment. I'm not even a Twitter guy like that, but it was just a big moment in general. I was just like, I'm gonna get through this. Whereas season 2 was genuinely, I was just watching it out of enjoyment. Like I just liked it. I was invested. Like I just liked it more for me. It just did more for me. Like, I just remember so many episodes where I was just like, I'm not even enjoying this. It's just like uncomfortable in a way where I'm just like, I don't really know if I'm getting anything out of this. And in season 2, I just preferred. So I reckon there's a good chance I think season 3 is good and everyone thinks it's garbage mess. But like, I don't know. a lot of my predictions come from just things I want. That's why I'm terrible when it comes to footballing type stuff like that. Like any time of prediction based thing, anytime but like FPL, like fantasy league stuff, I'm bad. And I know in the moment I'm probably just doing this because I want it to happen, but I can't help myself. Like I can't. Like when I predict the Premier League table next year, oh my god, I need to check what I predicted this year because I know it was awful. But like, I will probably predict Chelsea to finish ridiculously high. I'll probably predict like Arsenal not to be in top four, like City not to win the league. Just completely irrational things that make no sense based on absolutely nothing. And I'll rationalize it in a way, like I'll say it, I'll present it in a package that looks believable. You know, it'll be like, oh, well, I think this will happen, and this and that. And if you actually look at City's squad, it's actually really thin, and this and that, and that will fall away, and this, and then Christmas, and then the Pep got player injury, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I can see maybe why you're trying to go for this left, but realistically, that's all bullshit and lies. I'm just saying to rationalize. I'm saying this really because this is what I want to happen. Like realistically, I'm saying Arsenal won't get top four because I want to believe it, and I've just made up all this nonsense around it to justify what I want. And that's why every single year when I look back at my predictions, it's like not a single relegation team right, not a single top four team right. And it's just like, strong bias makes you look like you don't know ball, and that's why I don't use Twitter, because you get people with strong biases who love players and hate other players, and they'll never admit to it. And that's the thing, if they just admit to having a bias, it actually make them look less bad. But because they always double down, I ain't got an agenda, I don't, it just makes you look like you don't know ball. And for some reason, that's up there with the biggest insults in the world. You know, fascist, racist, is that the same thing? I don't know ball. Oh, what? I don't know, but no, don't say that. You actually don't think I know? Oh my god. Like, yeah. Just like, you know, when you hear a conversation of some people on the train talking about football, and you just think, oh my god, they're clueless. They're talking about who the next manager of this team should be, or this person get the sack, or the best team, we should play a formation. And you just listen to it and you're like, you so almost jump in. And I'm not even the type of, like, I don't like that I'm kind of awkward. But like, you hear certain stuff and you just so badly want to jump in and be like, you're saying something like you've got it wrong, or like saying a factual thing wrong, or they just got a wild opinion, and you're just like, oh wow. Because there's not many conversations I'd ever jump in on, but when there's something about football, you just can't. You're like, well, actually, I don't know if I agree with you being like, we should not sign another centre mid because Reece James can just play there for the full season next season. That's sort of a crazy thing to say, and he fills in there. I don't think we shouldn't sign a centre mid just because, yeah, it's insane. You think we shouldn't sign a striker because we have Lukaku on loan and he can just come back in and do the job. You think what? Sorry, you think we should keep Aspi for another season? He's been a great servant to the club, and it's just like these types of things. Where it's like, oh, these fuddy-duddy. It's always fuddy-duddy old guys who's just like, I'm sorry, people over the age of 40 don't know ball, man. They don't know ball. That's where like the pundits, they kind of try and best keep the times like Gary Neville. He's looking great right now. Some of the predictions he made, and that's based off experience. But a lot of these pundits, they don't know ball, man. They don't know ball, and it's because they're old as fuck, and they're speaking about football from a different time, and they're just not with it. And so often, like, it's so rare I find myself in a conversation with someone over the age of 40, like just by chance, where it's someone you know, related to, vaguely know, at work, brief conversation, whatever it is, and you're like, you start talking with them, and within 10 seconds, you just start to like zone out and not really care. And you're giving like half opinions because you're like, I'm not really interested in this conversation. This guy doesn't know ball. People over the age of 40 don't know ball, man. They think they know ball. Like, when I'm working at Chelsea, I'll be sitting in the stands. I'll listen to some of the conversations between the older guys, the older stewards, about what they think should happen. And they're like, you know what? I reckon we should just keep Lampard. You know what? I'm not really sure what we should do. I don't know much about either the players, because I don't know any players as well. All the players we sign, it's like, oh, I've never really heard of him. And it's like, well, he's actually one of the top young prospects in like the top 5 leagues or whatever. But I've actually never heard of him. But, you know, he seems a bit arrogant for me with his shiny boots on. It's just like, oh, you don't know, but like, it's just so common. It's so common. Common old people L. And, you know, I don't know why I'm just calling out old people. I mean, over the age of 40, it's not like they're exactly old. It's just anyway. This was 151, I think, which means I'll see you in 152.
Here with the kids, and I had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like,